We're here with The Rock. I hope you checked in at the door, because when you sit down on this set, you're in my SmackDown hotel. And if we don't like what you say, rest assured we have express checkout. Great to welcome to the show one of the fastest rises to the top in the history of wrestling. We're excited to have Dwayne Johnson, Rocky Maivia, now known as The Rock. Some people call you the best pure athlete in wrestling today. Let's start off with a bit of your history. When you broke in, you were packaged as a part of a wrestling legacy. Your father is Rocky Johnson, or Sweet Ebony Diamond, as Canadian fans know him. Tony Atlas was a family friend, all kinds of family roots. Were you ever concerned that you wouldn't get your chance to prove yourself on your own terms?
No. I was never ever concerned about that, because, nor was I ever concerned about trying to fill their shoes, because my dad's, they were just too big, you know, my grandfather as well. But at the same time, I always knew that one day, whenever I got the opportunity, I was just going to make it happen.
How does your dad feel about the new WWF attitude? Your dad's obviously an old school guy. When he was part of wrestling, there was a certain era. How about the new attitude in the WWF, some of the stuff that goes on? I'm wondering, as we get an opportunity to take a look at some of the new stuff, including Sable. Clearly, there was no Sable around in those days, and maybe the reason why wrestling has taken off and mainstreamed itself so much is the new attitude. How does your dad feel about that?
Well, actually, he feels pretty good about it. He feels pretty good about it because he feels this way. It's like, almost like he's paved the road. He's paved the road for myself and a lot of the athletes today in the WWF, so he has no problem with it. He has no problem with the attitude. He has no problem with the edginess or anything like that.
Your first step up the ladder, if I'm correct, when you were taking big leaps, was the leader of Nation of Domination. That came and went, and so did some of the other racial issues that were developed in the WWF. They played the race card, then it was taken back.
Right.
Did you ever have a problem with the race card?
Instantly. That's my biggest pet peeve. That's my biggest turnoff, is the whole race issue. So when The Rock first joined the Nation, I wanted to make it a point to say, you know, it was never a race issue. It wasn't a black thing, it wasn't a white thing. It was The Rock going out there and getting his respect type of thing. And as far when we started to play the race card, I was adamantly against it. I voiced my opinion, as well as some other guys did at that time. Bret Hart did. I know that, and some other guys did. So we wound up not doing it at all, which I think worked out best for all parties involved.
So you voiced your opinion. You went to Vince and said, hey, you know, I'm not comfortable with this. And did he listen at that point? Is that why it left? That as a performer, you actually do have some say in?
Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And especially The Rock, who's so in tune with his character, as well as a lot of guys are. The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, for example. You know, because if the character doesn't feel comfortable about something, then, well, you just can't do it. And to go out there and try and perform under uncomfortable circumstances, well, the fans are going to know that, man, this guy's not digging what he's doing.
You're the first, correct me if I'm wrong, first black WWF champion?
That's right. Well, to say that is almost like my mom really doesn't exist. She's Samoan, so The Rock is half Samoan and half black, so I'd like to say the first man of color who's ever held the belt 2 times.
How many times was that, Rock?
2.
You got them both in questionable times, but we'll talk about that later on.
Okay.
Any special pride?
Any special pride?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Oh, don't overstep what?
Come on now. I know this is your little
There's no
SmackDown
boundaries
hotel.
here, Rock. Any special pride in the fact that you are the first WWF champion of color?
Yeah, absolutely. But again, you know, to me, it's not one of those things that The Rock never ever wanted to be considered that. Well, there's The Rock. He's the first man of color to ever hold the WWF title. No. What I want the millions and millions of The Rock's fans to say is that, man, there's The Rock. That's the best damn WWF champ there ever was, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, the great one. There he is.
Let me ask you, in 1996, just make sure I get the history correct, you were released by the Calgary Stampeders, right?
Yeah.
After a fine career at the University of Miami, right?
Right.
So you're released in 1996, not that long ago. Now you sit here telling me that you are the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, that you are one of the greatest in the history of the WWF, and I'm not here to question that. Sure. Are you shocked by not how good you are, but how quick this happened?
No, I'm not really shocked at it. Again, with persistence and hard work, and believe me, there's...
Come on, but in 1996, if someone could have told you that you would be one of the most recognizable personalities in North America and around the world to some extent, that wouldn't have surprised you?
Well, maybe to a certain degree it would have. But I knew one day it was going to happen. When I made up my mind to get involved in the business that I have a passion for, that I grew up in, I knew that there's going to be a time where the success will come, and that's through hard work and consistency. It's you know, the same old story, things like that. So it's surprising to a degree, but I was well aware that it was going to happen.
He is The Rock. His name is Dwayne Johnson, and we're going to talk about all kinds of aspects of his career and the WWF when Off the Record returns one-on-one. You got to know your role, right?
And shut your mouth.
Are you referring to me?
No, it's a saying. It's a rockism. Know your role, shut your mouth.
I guess I don't know all of the rockisms. But you know what? I mean, let's move off topic for a second. You know that since you started to create the rockisms, I get email, probably 100 a week, calling me a jabroni.
Jabroni, yeah.
Right. What is that?
Well, to The Rock says a jabroni is a flunky, a ham and egger, a hamburger, a piece of trash, someone who you don't really like. So,
Where'd you get it?
Actually, jabroni is a term in the wrestling business that we've used for years. That was used since the dawn of time in professional wrestling.
So I shouldn't be taking that as much of a compliment when I get accused of being one, right? It's not a good thing.
Well, no. Well, it all depends on who calls you jabroni. I mean, if your wife calls you jabroni, maybe that's a good thing.
As opposed to some of the other
things. When The Rock calls you a jabroni, no, you're a piece of monkey crap.
Do you write your stuff?
All the time, 24 hours.
Okay, I want to talk to you about where it comes from.
Okay.
Because I think that's one of the real interesting aspects of this business, isn't what happens in the ring. Because as Vince McMahon said on this show, if we're judged by what happens in the ring, it's just a bunch of men running around in their underwear. I want to talk about what happens, though, in the ring. Vince says you got to do what you're told in the ring. Vince says that is of key importance, but not everybody all the time does what they're told. I want you to tell me your assessments of guys who don't necessarily do what they're told. A guy like Shawn Michaels, who claimed that he would never lie down for anyone, eventually did lie down right here to Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but kind of, I think, made a fool of himself because of how exaggerated it was. I felt that was an insult to the industry. What do you think of guys who don't do what they're told and don't know their role?
Well, as far as for guys who really don't do what they're told in the ring, it's bottom line unprofessional. It's exactly what it is. I would never ever go out there in the ring, you know, and having something already mapped out, lined out, knowing what I wanted to do, and then go out there and all of a sudden, well, I think I'm just going to change it just because I think I can. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way with me. I have too much respect for the guys I'm in there with who respect me. I have too much respect for the business that I'm in, the business that I love. So, you know, and once in a while you'll get apples like that, but you know, hey.
Because it's ego, too, right? I mean,
sure.
The fact is, yes, this is entertainment.
It's just a little bit of ego.
Yeah, just a little bit of entertainment. Just a little bit of ego. But this is entertainment, right? And
bottom line, yeah.
The bottom line is it's not sold as a sport anymore.
No.
There are storylines that are developed.
Absolutely. And believe me, The Rock will be the first one leading that cavalry down the road of, hey, listen, what we do is strictly sports entertainment. Sports entertainment because we have exceptional athletes. Entertainment because we have exceptional entertainers, of course, like yours truly. But, you know, I'm the first one to say what we're doing, there's a lot of theatrics and showmanship and entertainment, and things are pre-planned and things are predetermined. But you know what? Let's get over that hump and not ask the passe question of, oh man, is that fake or whatever? What doesn't really matter. Go ahead, sit back, relax, you know, have a cappuccino and enjoy the Rock show. Enjoy the WWF.
Rock, I think that most of your fans aren't having cappuccinos. They're consuming something else.
Well, the Rock's fans, you never know. They're eating fillets and hey, trust me.
Let me talk about a couple of personalities. Shawn Michaels, retired, right?
Yeah.
From the WWF.
Well, as of now, I know Shawn had back surgery, so.
Do you like Shawn Michaels? Because there are very much likes and dislikes, and there are very much personalities that don't like each other. And
that's right.
Guys have said on this show, do you respect Shawn Michaels?
I respect Shawn Michaels for what he's done in the ring. His accomplishments have been unbelievable, what he's done. You know, and I've never had a problem with Shawn Michaels. I've never had a problem with Shawn Michaels. The Rock and the Heartbreak Kid have never locked horns. So, and I mean that professionally, entertainment-wise, in the ring or outside of the ring. Shawn has actually helped The Rock on a lot of occasions.
But you saw a lot of the stuff that he was doing backstage.
Yeah,
I mean, he was much into the politics of it, right?
Right. So that part I really care too much for. But again, it never revolved around me. I was never in a storyline with Shawn Michaels. I was never involved with Shawn. We didn't have any angle or anything like that going. So the relationship I had with Shawn Michaels wasn't a very tight one. You know, it was very, hey, how you doing? How is everything? And you're doing good, and try this or whatever.
The one match that stands out in my mind that really summed up a lot of the politics was Survivor Series last year, right? Bret Hart.
2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago? It was two Survivor Series ago. It was last year, though, with you, though.
That's right.
And your match, which in a lot of ways mirrored exactly what we saw with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
That's right.
Coincidence? I mean, this is you applying the sharpshooter.
That's right. The Rock is applying the sharpshooter right there, the great one. Now, right now, there's about 20 people from rows 1 to 20 who all hear Mankind, and he was screaming, I quit. But that's one story. Now, on the other hand, yeah, that was the mirror finish of the infamous sharpshooter Shawn Michaels Bret Hart finish that has gone down in history as being the.
So that was so that was created for that reason, to look back, poke a little fun, have a little fun with it.
Yeah, I don't know if it was meant just to poke a little fun at it. I mean, when you're looking at a Survivor Series, it was one of the best Survivor Series ever done, pay-per-view wise, buy rate wise, and you got The Rock in there with Mankind, and Stone Cold is involved in Vince McMahon. I don't think it was done to poke fun.
Were you comfortable with it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I was comfortable with it. I mean, it's complete entertainment, and we entertain the hell out of millions of people, and The Rock loves that. He has a passion for entertaining, so I was comfortable with it. I'm very close with Bret Hart. I've been close with him for years. He's helped me tremendously, and I'll never forget it. And
did Bret make a comment after that?
If he did, he didn't make it to me. He never called me and told me that he didn't like it or anything like that. And I think he knows me well enough to know that I would never do anything to disrespect him.
Right, I want to ask you about Bret Hart, and we'll do that when Off the Record returns with Dwayne Johnson. He is, as he has told you many times, The Rock. I love the way you refer to yourself in the third like that. Can you teach me the right way to do it? How am I doing?
Well, you're not doing too bad, but it's the wrong side for one.
It's the wrong side for you.
You got to turn. Wham. There it is. People's eyebrow.
The people's eyebrow.
The people's eyebrow.
All right, let's talk about some of your creations. I want to know where they came from. Let's show people at home some of the things that you have brought into the character of The Rock.
Okay.
And as we look at these, you'll give us an idea kind of where they come from. First of all, of course, there is the, there's the eyebrow, as you showed us. There's the corporate elbow. Your creation?
Corporate elbow, absolutely. Rock's creation. Wham, there it is, right on a chair.
And that's not all.
That's not all, no. There's the people's eyebrow.
Yeah, SmackDown Hotel. That's right, well, no, Mankind's not available right now. He's a little busy. His mouth is full with The Rock's foot in his mouth.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
So where does that come
Electrifying.
from? That's all written for you, right?
Well, yeah, written by me.
Oh, that's a difference than for you.
Oh, there's a big, big difference.
Vince Russo gives you a little hand, right?
Well, oh, no, Vince Russo doesn't give The Rock any of that stuff.
No, does anyone give The Rock a hand?
Props go out to Vince Russo, though, but no, absolutely. Well, I mean, you know, some people try and help, and I appreciate that, you know, when they throw me some good stuff. But as far as for you smell what The Rock is cooking and know your role, shut your mouth, and laying a SmackDown Hotel, and it goes on, and having a nice rock witch with some rock sauce on the side, you know, all that kind of stuff is, it's something that, again, 24/7, always writing things down, always trying to be creative. And again, what's important is The Rock takes pride in being creative and innovative when he goes out there, from in the ring and especially outside the ring.
All right. So you're getting the push. You're on your way up. You move from the Canadian Football League. You're there. You're Rocky Maivia, and then all of a sudden you're The Rock, and you're climbing up the ladder, right? You're no longer Johnson's kid in the locker room, and everyone said, nice to see you, man. You're no longer five guys in the van traveling around. You're flying on planes. You're big time.
Right.
Did you feel animosity from other performers? And I know for a fact that there were some guys probably who thought you were a punk and that you were getting pushed too quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. And you get that. You get that professional jealousy in any business.
You took that guy's place to some extent, Stone Cold. I mean, he still sits on top, and he's still, you know, a mega star. Nobody can sell T-shirts like Stone Cold.
That's right.
But you had your own pay-per-view, Rock Bottom.
But no one could be The Rock like The Rock
Right, he was jealous, wasn't he?
Well, hold on a second. There it is. Wham.
You can't watch and admire your stuff. Just let it roll, Rock.
I can't do that. It's impossible. Genetically impossible not to sit and look at the Rock. As far as for Steve being jealous and all as a shoot, no, he wasn't jealous. I'm going to tell you why. Because what happens is there's a certain, once you reach a certain level, you understand the business, you understand what it takes, you understand that, hey, well, this guy is here and he's got a certain look to him. I'm talking about myself. He's got a certain look to him and he's creative and he has a passion for what we all do. Once you reach that level, there are certain guys like that. Steve, for example, is like that. The Undertaker's like that. And a couple of other guys who realize, hey, this guy is going to help everyone. As I realized, Stone Cold, hey, the more success to him, it helps out everybody. The more success of The Rock, it helps out everybody. But there are some guys who...
Guys that you leapfrogged above, right?
Sure, yeah, and whether it be professional jealousy or personal jealousy, hey, that's not The Rock's problem. The Rock's going to go out there and he's going to do his thing. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great too.
Guy like Farouk, probably a pretty good example of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You took his role in the nation.
Yeah, in our world of entertainment, yeah, he was absolutely livid over something like that. But in our world of business sense, no.
So who were the guys that looked at you differently because now all of a sudden you're the star? Everybody wants to be the star and get the push, right?
Well, I really can't say that. No, I don't mean I really can't say that trying to be politically correct, because
The Rock could never be politically
he
correct.
couldn't give two monkey craps about being politically correct.
Not that we're interested in those.
But what about monkey crap?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, but anyway, I really can't say because I really don't know. No one ever voiced their opinion that loud where The Rock would hear, hey, listen, you know, you got this too fast, or you haven't been in the business long enough. And I have heard that. I've heard that from some critics that, wow, The Rock has only been wrestling for 3 years. Well, that may be true, but The Rock has been in this business all of his life. For 26 years. I grew up in this business. My family kept me extremely close to this business, as Vince did for Shane, for example, and as a lot of second-generation guys have done for their sons. Dustin, for example, you know, and a couple of Jeff Jarrett. There's another guy. And so I was kept very close to this business. So growing up, I knew the business, so to speak. So getting into it wasn't like all of a sudden, you know, The Rock came from college and he just decided to jump into professional wrestling. No, got a passion for what I do.
Who brings the best out of you? Every guy performer seems to have someone that he meshes with.
Sure.
Who brings the best out of The Rock? Is it Mick Foley?
Mick Foley is one of them. Mick Foley brings out a different side of The Rock. Mick Foley brings out that side of The Rock that The Rock, you see that side of taking a chair and bashing his brains in, a steel chair. Putting him through this table, through that wall, taking that TV, making sure that he reads that Sony sign, wham, through it. But there is one guy, and The Rock refers to him as the biggest piece of Texas trailer park trash walking, and that's, of course, Stone Cold Steve Austin. When Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock get together, there's a certain magic there that happens that it's undeniable. And in the ring, outside the ring, for entertainment purposes, and even without, it's just there's a chemical reaction that happens there.
I think you're selling the next pay-per-view for us, which is okay, because in your business, selling is key. And it's key in our business, too. And we sell this show by saying, you at home have a say. You wanted The Rock, we got The Rock. You at home will ask questions, tell us what guests you'd like to see. Here's one for you. Hey, Rock, both your title wins have been screw jobs. When is the corporate champ going to win the title clean? You'll answer that for us when Off the Record returns. Foley interview will be shown Tuesday on Off the Record, and don't forget Wednesday, Dave Menito, an Ultimate Fighter on Off the Record. So all kinds of good things to look forward to, but we've got The Rock here. Confirm or deny some rumors that we have heard from the WWF. Confirm or deny. No chance to back down here. The Giant will debut in the WWF before WrestleMania. Confirm or deny?
Confirm that.
Dan Severn, probably done in the WWF.
Confirm that, too.
WrestleMania 15 will be called Raging Climax.
I don't know about that.
Hey,
is that a WrestleMania or is that a movie?
We're working 24/7 here, Rock.
You said
Just
724.
Yeah. Well, that was a commercial break. You make your mistakes in commercial break. That's the smartest thing. Jackal was released because of heat with guys backstage.
Combination of things.
The new blue blazer is Coco Beware.
Yeah, the blue and black blazer.
Word association. I'll throw out some names. You give me a comment on them, okay? Jerry Lawler.
Entertaining.
Bret Hart.
Legend.
Kevin Nash.
Pretty smart.
Ric Flair.
Legend.
Can't have two legends. Give me another word. You can't throw out legend that easy.
Well, hey, you're talking about Bret Hart and Ric Flair. I
Okay.
mean, those two guys, man, they're the ones.
Ahmed Johnson. I don't know your language. I don't speak it that well, but I imagine isn't a good thing. Am I right?
You're right. Well, Ahmed, you know, he had some issues he had to deal with. So.
One of the issues was that he just wasn't that good a wrestler, right? And he hurt some guys.
He did, yeah.
There are guys in the ring who are dangerous. Is that true?
Yeah, oh yeah, that is true. And rarely do you find that at this level in the WWF. But Ahmed he wasn't
He
that
had
great
some
of a
issues.
wrestler, so yeah, he had some.
We got to go. Rock, a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
And don't forget, Raw from the Sky Dome next.
That's it.